The Oh My Goth cup is back. You know what that means. It's spooky season, baby. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be planning out my TBR for October. Before we get into anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is your favorite scary movie. It is finally here, my favorite month of the year, October. That's not just because of Halloween, although it's a big part. Also, my birthday is at the end of the month. Wishlist in the description down below if you're interested. I thought it might be fun to change up my usual TBR by doing a plan with me version of it. I did not come up with this idea. Originally, I saw it on the Book Leo's channel, and then I actually saw Jess at Books Past Bedtime do it, and I just thought this was kind of fun and entertaining way to showcase how booktubers come up with what they're planning to read each month. For myself, the first thing I usually do is look at the videos I have planned, so let's move over to my desk and talk about those. This is my Notion where I basically plan majority of my life. I have my video planning in here, so this is my homepage. Let's go over to my book content and my video planning. These are all of the videos I'm planning to come out with in October, so a little spoilery, but for the sake of this video, we'll deal. Starting at the top, October Plan With Me. Obviously, you're watching this, so it came out on time. For the sake of this video, I'm actually gonna move this little checkbox for filmed over here, and I'm gonna check mark each of the videos that I have to actually read books for. So the first is Sabathon reading vlog. Following that is my author taste test. And then finally, my raid my shelves. Oh, not finally. Also, Spooktober reading vlog. That is 4 videos I have to read for. It's about 2 more than normal. I'm not going to go into either of the readathon reading vlogs. I will have a specific portion of this video dedicated to the readathon, so if you're interested, you can skip ahead to the timestamp down below. If we're ignoring this Stabathon reading vlog, then the next one is this author taste test. I figured out that I usually give an author about 2 books. If I don't like their writing after those 2 books, I probably won't pick up a book from them again. So I am going to be picking 2 books this month by Grady Hendrix. Obviously, I don't own any of his books, which means I'm going to be a little reliant on my library. I've gone to my library's homepage and I'm just gonna search Grady Hendrix. I like to go for the physical books first if I can, but if none were available, I would go for the ebooks that they have on the app. Thankfully, looks like they do have his 2 latest books available in print. So first up, the Final Girls Support Group, as well as the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This is great for me because those are 2 that I've been very intrigued by. They are currently checked out, so let's just go ahead and put myself on hold. I believe the Final Girls Support Group is revolving around this group of older women who were all final girls, meaning they survived some kind of a terrible event, some massacre, something reminiscent to a horror movie, and now I believe they start disappearing or one is killed and the others are now suspicious that they're next. Something along those lines. Next is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I think this one is about a woman in a small town who gets kicked out of like the pristine proper book club and decides to start one focusing on like horror and true crime and things such as that, and a new hottie moves into town and the book club she has created all start to speculate on whether he is like a serial killer or a vampire or something else terrible and try to catch him in the act. I don't know. I've heard this is very terrifying and has some really gruesome scenes. I'm very excited for it. The next video that was listed on there was a Raid My Shelves, which came about because I am unhappy with the number of books I own that I haven't read. This is a easy way to make myself read them by turning it into a video. I am not 100% sure on what books I want to read yet, so I figured I would go through the unread books on my shelves, pick out which ones sound kind of spooky and creepy and weird, and I'll talk over my thoughts with you guys. Quite a bunch that I can't even lift it. Ugh. We have a lot of possibilities. Can you tell I like spooky things? So starting out the top is a strong contender, which is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. First off, this cover just screams Halloween to me. This was actually up there for one of the picks I was looking at for the book club I do with my best friends. It just didn't win out because I wasn't sure if one of them would really enjoy this, but I do really want to read this. I've heard really great things, particularly because this is a fantasy standalone, and Lord knows I need to stop starting so many series. This is starting high on the list. Next is The Chalk Man, My CJ Tutor. I've heard a lot of great things about this from Lady Jane Books and Books Yada Yada, I believe, which was why I bought it. However, I don't know if I'm really in the mood for it because I have other mystery books planned already, and I don't know if this one like really stands out apart from the rest. Then we have H as in Hunted by Lawrence Treat. This is an awesome cover. My boyfriend gave this to me from his grandmother's collection. I know it's about a guy who gets framed for a murder after leaving prison, and he has to prove himself innocent. Again, mystery. Don't know if it stands out enough for me to really pick it. Then Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I really want to read this. It is the first in a sci-fi fantasy series. I believe it is often sold as lesbian necromancers in space, which definitely was why I was intrigued. However, this is the first book in a series, and I think there's going to be 4 books, and only 2 are out so far. So I don't know if I want to start it just yet and have to wait for that long. Also, it's pretty chunky. It's almost 500 pages, and I already have a fair amount of books planned for the month. This is a no for now. Horrid by Katrina Leno. This cover also just screams Halloween to me. This is a YA mystery thriller though, and I just read 5 of those last month, so I don't know if I really want to read another one this quickly. Both of these babies, once again, thrillers. Don't know if there's anything too standoutish about them right now. I did start Girl A already, which is kind of a benefit, but I don't know. I'm just not really feeling called to it yet. Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I picked this up from a library sale for free. This is a multimedia, you can't, okay, I say multimedia and then like can't find a single piece of it. A multimedia story, I'm just gonna keep flipping. Oh, there we go, there's an email. This is a multimedia mystery in which a person is investigating the disappearance of a director or a director's daughter, maybe? There we go, there's some more. I've heard good things. It's also really chunky, which does scare me, but I'm really intrigued by this multimedia aspect. I mean, there's like full-blown pictures in it and all. This is really cool. See, that's the like distinguishing thing about this one compared to the other mysteries, because now I'm intrigued. This will be on the maybe pile. When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a romance thriller, I think. I don't know if I'm really in the mood for a romance thriller though. The girls, cults. I don't know, I've heard this isn't very like thrillery actually, now that I think about it. I've heard this is more historical fiction, so this probably shouldn't have gotten put in with spooky. Helter Skelter, another chunky boy. I already have a nonfiction for the month though. Yeah, I'll hold off on that one. Finally, Where Dreams Descend by Janelle Angeles. This is a Phantom of the Opera meets Moulin Rouge, which I don't know why that gives me like circusy vibes, but it does. I don't know if that's actually true though. Maybe it's less spooky and more just fall is what this makes me think of. I think I could hold off for this one for now. In November though, I might read this. Oh gosh. I never even looked at the end pages. Those are beautiful. So these 2 babies were on my maybe pile. This is a chunky book. I was initially planning to do 3, but since this is so chunky, I think I'm okay with sticking in the 2. We got my Read My Shelves figured out. Good job, team. And now, scooch you this way. These babies get to go right here on my planned reading shelf. Please ignore the number of books I didn't read in September. Next up is the book clubs I am planning to partake in. So most of my book clubs I follow using Discord, which is a chatting app. I really appreciate this because I like getting to actually speak with other people about the book while I'm actually reading it. So for this month, first is the Buy Book Club. They don't usually announce their book until a little bit into the month, so I'm not sure about that one yet. Following that is the book club I do with a few of my friends from college, and this month it was actually my pick. I decided to go with Mayhem by Estelle Lore. I actually don't know a lot about this, but the blurb says it is The Craft meets Lost Boys, and honestly that just has me hooked right there, and I was so excited. It's not too long, and I'm hopeful maybe my friends will enjoy it. Following that one is the Fantaseries book club, which is hosted by a bunch of wonderful booktubers. They usually pick series that are very divisive, and this next series that we're starting is actually the Villains. I think it was a duology and now it's becoming an actual series by V.E. Schwab. So the first book is going to be Vicious, and all I really know about this is that these 2 college students are doing some experiments to figure out how people are suddenly having these supernatural abilities, and they discover that you have to have some kind of a near-death experience, and they are trying to experiment on themselves for this to happen so that they can become supervillains. I've heard lots of good things about these books. I haven't read any other V.E. Schwab apart from Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I know is supposed to be very very different from the rest of her stuff, so I'm very intrigued to try out more of her work. Following that one is the only book club that I don't have on Discord, and that's going to be the Lights Out book club, which is hosted by Sav at Riveting Reads. This month it is going to be The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. I actually picked this for Sam over at Griff Reads to read in August, I believe, and she did enjoy it, which makes me happy because hopefully that means I will enjoy it as well, since we have pretty similar taste in thrillers. I also don't know a lot about this one. I know there's a serial killer, a creepy house, and one of the perspectives you follow is a cat. That's all you need to know. I also don't really like knowing a ton when I go into thrillers, so it's probably better that that's all I know. Finally, the last book club for the month is the Sugar and Spice book club. This month's pick is going to be The X Talk by Erin Sterling, which is a witchy second chance romance in which our main female character accidentally put a hex on her ex-boyfriend and then is trying to negate said hex. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what I heard. I'm pretty apprehensive going into this one just because I heard Remarkably Lisa say that it was a little underwhelming, but the idea of the book still has me very excited. Finally, the last section for books I am planning to read for the month is going to be my readathons, and with these I am currently planning to partake in two separate ones. The first one is Stabathon, which is hosted by 3 lovely booktubers. All information for these in the description down below if you would like to join. This one is a week long, and I believe it is going from October 4th to the 10th. There is a bingo board. You know, usually most people would probably just try to wipe out one line. We're overachievers in this house, and I'm trying to clear the board. All of these prompts are based on classic horror movies. So the first one is Chucky or Child's Play, and that is a book with either dolls or children. First off, your girl doesn't mess with dolls, so no. Book I will be picking will not have dolls. Instead, I decided to go for the children route with Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Caitlin Doughty. This is the only one of Caitlin Doughty's books I haven't read yet, and I believe this is her way of answering a bunch of questions she has received from children about death. So bam, that's where we got the kids. This one will also be fulfilling the next reading prompt, which is Halloween, a book that has black or orange on the cover. Obviously, there's a good amount of black. Bang, got that. After that one is Friday the 13th, and that is a book that takes place during the summer. I'm not 100% certain on this, but I'm choosing Mayhem by Estelle Lore, and that's because this does say it is based on The Lost Boys, which I'm fairly certain took place in the summer. It's been like 3 years since I last watched that movie, but I'm pretty sure it took place in summertime, so I think it's a fair assumption to say this takes place in the summer also. This one will also be completing the prompt of Carrie, a book that has supernatural vibes. The Craft is witches, The Lost Boys is vampires, so I'm sure one of those will play a part in this, if not both. Next up is to read a slasher, and I'm going to be going with A Night. Oh my god. I keep trying to put an A in there. I don't know why. I'm going to be going with Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones, and I believe this is a novella in which a group of friends go to prank their friend who works at a movie theater by taking a mannequin with them, thinking it's like, ha ha ha, gonna be a joke, and then the mannequin goes and buys his own ticket. I read The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones this time last year and really enjoyed it, and have been wanting to try out some more of his work, so bam, here we go. This one will also be fulfilling the last prompt, which is Get Out, to read a book by a BIPOC author, as Stephen Graham Jones is an Indigenous author. There are also 2 additional prompts, which are activities. One is to watch your favorite scary movie, and the other is to post a costume picture. I'll probably do the costume picture because it's Halloween time. As for the favorite scary movie, I can almost guarantee I will probably watch either The Mummy or Happy Death Day at some point during the week. On to the next readathon, which is going to be Spooktober, and this is a month-long readathon being hosted, again, you guessed it, by some terrific booktubers. Being the overachiever that I am, I didn't want to double up books in both readathons, so these are all going to be different ones from the last. That might bite me in the butt later. We'll see. So the first prompt is to read a dark academia book, and I am going to be going with 𝗖cie by 𝗖cie his𝗁𝗁 because I believe the story starts with the 2 of them being in college. So bang, dark academia. Following that is to read a book by a BIPOC author or with a BIPOC character. October. I'm going to be reading Dead Dead Girls by 𝗖cie heç𝘁reph for this one. This is a mystery story, I believe, set in 1920s New York, in which our main character has a run-in with the police and gets forced into working on a case trying to find a serial killer. I'm all over this. I can't wait for it. I also know it's the first in a series, and I'm wondering if it's gonna be kind of like a creepier, cozy mystery vibe. I'm not sure, but I'm into it. Following that one is to read a book with morally gray characters, and as the two main characters in 𝗖cie are trying to become villains, I think it's safe to say they're probably a little morally gray. Next is to read a book containing witchcraft or folklore. I'm going to be going with The 𝗖cie by Erin Sterling, as our main character is a witch. Then to read a book with a Halloween element, and I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think that The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward will fit, given that it has a serial killer, a creepy house, and again, one of the perspectives, a cat. If it's black cat, it fits perfectly. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. Finally is the group book, which is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. I believe this is a thriller that takes place at a college reunion, and our main character was bullied while she was in college and is taking revenge now, possibly? Or she just happens to be there and suddenly everybody starts dying. One of those. I'm not 100% sure. Again, thriller, don't want to know a lot going into it, but I am excited to try this one out. Alright, so that is all of the books I am planning to read for the month, and it seems like a lot. After I've decided all of the books I'm planning to read for the month, I will then go into my reading directory on Notion and order them based on when I plan to read them throughout the month. So I'll show you guys how I do that. So we are back on my Notion, and as I said, on my reading directory, gotta go to my homepage right here. And this is my upcoming TBR. This is still set on the September, so let's change it over to October. As you can see, pretty simple. I just type in what the title is, start at the top, put in the author. If I own it, I will check mark it as such. The format, I didn't look at what that was on my library, so I'm just gonna guess hardcover, and I think they do have the audiobook available on the app as well. I'll usually mark down some tags if it's something I need to remember or want to take note of later. So this one doesn't fulfill any of these, I don't think. Oh, taste test. Okay, yes it does. Month, page count. Ooh, I didn't look at that either, so I'll need to input that later. And then just continue down the line doing the same thing. Night Film, Marisha Pessl. I do own this one, so I can mark it as such. That's gonna be right in my shelves. Okay. So that is all 12 books I will be reading for the month of October, and then just as I finish them, I will check mark them off and then they disappear. I didn't take the time to fill in pages because I'm lazy. I'll do that later. And then finally, after I have done all of that, I will then go in to my reading journal and plan out all of my reading goals. I will figure out whether I have a book that fits for my backlist, my nonfiction, my diverse, my YA, and my adult. If I don't, guess what? I'm adding another book to the list, but thankfully I think I have one for each of these already. So now you guys are gonna get a little peek into my reading journal a week early. Alright y'all, so that is it. As always, thank you so much for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as follow me on Instagram, Storygraph, and Goodreads in the description if you're interested in keeping up with what I am reading. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!
you.